Bogus Skill Fruitmaster, episode 7 proves there might be just a way to cook too hard when it comes to anime. Not in a way that, oh my god, they cook so hard, this is the greatest episode of all time. No, there's the anti-cooking, which is, you have arguably one of the most mid shows you can watch this season, and they give you slightly above slop, and you say to yourself, huh, now I kind of want to see more. This show is at its best when it embraces the silly, and my utter disbelief, as I'm literally saying, I'm doing my reaction over on Patreon, right? I'm saying, like, hey, the show's fine, but, you know, it's not anything crazy. And this man bust out a damn frying pan and caught magical lightning bolts and essentially made scrambled eggs, basically. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe this show's actually 10 out of 10 after all. He has broken people's faces with a broom. He's cooked up electricity in frying pans. The way they make me continue to watch this show, despite every gut instinct saying, I probably shouldn't. They are cooking something, and I know it's going to leave me with diarrhea. Yet I continue to eat more week after week, and I ain't going to deny. I had a fun time again this week. And I'm not even high like I was on cold medicine, like last week. I was probably getting shittier with my tastes with age, but damn, anime fans want one thing, and it's disgusting. We want more characters to beat up people with kitchen utensils. You know me though. I got the full live reactions, full thoughts over on Patreon. If you want to support my work, see my full thoughts over there exclusively. So, every part of me doesn't want to give this show compliments, but I gotta give some compliments. I was concerned when he went and saved this blacksmith's daughter, because it kind of looked like he was indestructible. This little sleep pixie just knocked out an entire crew. Like, she knocked out a dragon, she's knocked out an entire crew, like, nothing's gonna work. Well, this episode confirms that actually he's gonna need to eat more of those fruit, which does highlight an issue in this show, and we're gonna get to it in a second. But this man's electrical barrier can, like, push away the sleep powder, meaning she was completely useless. I do think he wasn't really the smartest, and I think it does highlight the fact that the MC in the show is kind of dumb. All he should have done is, even if it doesn't work, he could have used her as like a distraction, or he could have been the distraction. Maybe she sneaks around and she tries to do the attacks multiple times. No, he just sends her away like, all right, go away, Pikachu, I'll use Squirtle now. It's like, okay, we could have tried more with that, but is what it is. And it does highlight an issue. So this man continues to travel with 𝙒𝙤𝙤, right? Who is the appraiser, and her appraisal skill can be useful. This girl makes no sense to me because she brings the fruit with her only when she decides to. Like, if we're going to accept that this character is not going to continuously eat the fruit, because, you know, sure, he's immune to shit, but what if it overwrites an ability? What if he gets an ability that hurts him? Whatever, bullshit. Fine, I'll accept that as logic. If your current ability that you're using to defeat the things that have been defeated up to this point is no longer working, pop another fruit and see what ability. Now, realistically, he should probably just eat 50 of them and have an arsenal of abilities that he can pull from, and then he can practice before these moments. But if we're going the route of he's scared and he's only going to do it in situations he absolutely has to, why the hell is the little girl not having support items thrown at him so he can eat more fruit, right? Like, come on now, use your brain. But I'm not going to deny, man, as soon as he pulled out that, well, he didn't really pull it out, she threw it at him, but when he ends up using a frying pan, even if only for like 3 seconds, I thought to myself, this might actually be the greatest show of all time. They are indoctrinating me. They're gaslighting me into believing the show's better than it is. But between last week and this week, there's legitimately moments that I'm like, you know, it's mid as hell, but I gotta admit, most of these kind of mid as hell shows wouldn't go this direction. The main thing is the blacksmith's daughter here. So she's all scared about swords and shit, right? Usually after saving a character like this, she would either immediately just go back to doing her job, or she would travel with us, right? And no, she's actually still contemplating everything. And the idea that, you know, she's conflicted about her dad going back into business doing this stuff, given that weapons can be used to hurt people. And the idea that she, like, legitimately is confused about where to go. The idea that, too, you can see what they're building into, because they start it in this episode. He was using a sword that she made, and very clearly that's going to be the turning point for her character. Whether or not she travels with us, which I think is what they're building into, or she just, you know, will be our main supplier and she'll build stuff. This is going to prove that sometimes good people will use the weapons, and even if they do fall in the wrong hands, it's more beneficial to give it to the good people, yada yada yada. You see where they're building in. Nothing crazy, but it's better than, I think, the first 5 episodes of the show didn't really indicate it was going to have anything even similar to this. Like, it's not a 10 out of 10 plot point or character arc, but it's like a solid 6 out of 10, which is, you know, better than the average 4 out of 10 the show delivers more often than not. Animation too, honestly a little better than you would expect. It's nothing crazy, but honestly, with how basic a lot of the show looks at face value, background art, character design, stuff like that, or even a lot of the inconsistencies with the art direction where characters are so off model they look like aliens. The actual fights, for how long they are in an episode, surprisingly move decent, which is interesting. But at the end of the day, this is still the worst show I'm watching this season, without a single doubt in my mind. But the show's at its best doing 2 things: embracing the ridiculous, which apparently proves that an anime can cook too hard, because now I'm at a point where I'm like, oh my god, as I'm literally saying the show's nothing special, they introduce a frying pan weapon and I think the show's great. I'm broken, like, just ridiculous. But it's true. Give this man a farming tool like a hoe or a shovel and have that be his primary weapon. It would be the greatest thing ever. But also, the show is surprisingly better too when it has these more situational stories that are multi-episode, but not like necessarily doing anything too crazy, but just allowing for a decent story, such as a father forced to do business with a group of people that he doesn't want to, but wants to protect his daughter, yada yada, and, you know, her story of, like, you know, I'm scared of making weapons because they'll fall in the wrong hands, get people I love or other people killed. Decent storytelling, nothing crazy, but better than, you know, the first 5 episodes where we're like, this man, why isn't he eating the fruit? That's still an issue. This episode proves he should be eating a freaking fruit, at least in the middle of this fight. But realistically, if he was smart, he would eat 50 of them after a fight when no one's around. So if he get overdoses on them, nothing's going to happen. Because very clearly he needs more abilities than just Sword Master, Insect Repellent, and Sleep Pixie. Like, eat 12 more, boss, so you have more skills to work with. Be like Batman and have a utility belt, you idiot. I don't know. I both love and hate the show so much, and I'm unironically excited for episode 8. If before the show's over he doesn't have a fly swatter at least, or a net or something, the more ridiculous his weapons, the better the show is. And I never knew an anime could cook too hard, but here we are. You let me know your thoughts. What did you think of this episode? How do you want to see this arc wrap up? And what would you prefer his weapon of choice to be? Let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell, and like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Andrew Thomas, No Name Needed, Cuds, Doc, Tyrun, Danny Boy, and we also have Simon Lau, so I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.